Most people don't know that you can get a domain from Squarespace. Not just a website. But you're not most people, because now you know you can get a domain from Squarespace. Something like velvetchords.com for your music studio. Or kidchords.com for your middle school band camp. Whatever your dream, Squarespace is how you make it happen, all under one roof. Get yours before it's gone with offer code MAKEITREAL for 10% off your domain or website. Terms and conditions apply.
Are we on the radio yet? We are on the radio, so I just said that on the radio.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of nice?
You've said a lot on the radio.
Anyways, anybody that is now picking this up, you have no idea what we went through this morning after NIPSCO went off like in 4 stutter steps in a row, and that really kind of threw our equipment off. Hopefully, when we move down there mostly on Friday or tomorrow, we won't have to do this anymore. But I was down there at 5, and I want to say thank you to Belsom Electric and to NIPSCO and to LumenServe and to Mike Zanicki, our engineer. So all those people, thank you. It was quite the morning, but we figured it out. But mostly, I would like to say thank you to Sam Michael. What do you think, Adriana? Okay, he's supposed to. We told him to go away and not think about this place for a week.
That's our
and
bad.
he was on the computer with us for like 3 hours this morning. So does that mean he gets another day? Should we give him another day?
Probably.
Yeah, why not? I think that counts as a work day.
Yeah.
This is episode 101. I can't believe we made it this far, but people will drive past a local business they have known for years, but only give it a try when a stranger on the internet they have never met says it's good. a one-sentence review, a TikTok recommendation, and a YouTube comment, somehow that feels more reliable than anything else these days. This episode explores the strange hierarchy of credibility we have created in the digital age. Why reviews carry so much weight. Why influencers feel more trustworthy than experts. And why social proof often matters more than experience. We break down how this shift happened, what it means for local businesses, and why trust today is less about who you are and more about who is talking about you. He's Matt Hansen. Matt, how are you?
I am good.
You know, this is timely, as a lot of people are, we're actually recording this going right before Christmas of 2025. And even I bought a bunch of stuff looking at the reviews.
Yeah. See, reviews are huge, right? So I was laughing about this as we were kind of preparing for this episode, and the fact that we just bought 2 brand new TVs, and we haven't bought TVs in years, right? For some reason, we've been given TVs through family and whatever else, but we decided to buy 2 new TVs. My wife wanted to put up a TV above the fireplace, and I was tired of watching, my Chicago Bears win on a 42-inch in the den, right? So we were like, all right, well, let's buy a new TV, and we were focused on the one above the fireplace, and then I kind of was like, well, let's throw another one in there just for me,
It's only it's under 500.
It was $179.
I know, isn't that crazy how they've gotten it?
Yeah. So I was laughing about it, but we're sitting here and we're going through it, and she goes, the only thing my wife said to me is, we need this size, go find it from these places. And I'm laughing because when you used to go buy a TV back in the day, you would literally go look at the TV, the picture, all of it, all of the stuff in a store. I didn't look at the screen. I didn't look at anything. I looked at kind of how it was built. But the first thing I did was I'm like, all right, well, let's go to reviews. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, this one has 8 reviews. I don't really want to look at that one. This one has 179 reviews. Okay, that's enough that I can get kind of a feel out of it, right? So we buy these 2 TVs that show up in boxes at my house. I've never seen what they look like. I have no idea what I'm buying. But because some random Joe Schmo out there has provided their review and said, hey, this is 4 stars, this is 5 stars, whatever it is, I put my trust into that. So I bought 2 brand new TVs that showed up to my house, sight unseen, based on somebody I've never met in my entire life, because I read reviews, and that's what I'm watching. So it was funny because last Sunday, I sit down to watch the NFL games, and I go, all right, let's see what this TV is all about. Had no idea what I was in for, right? So it was kind of like this unboxing of the TV. Let's plug it in. Let's see what is it going to keep up with the football hurtling through the air? Is it going to be blurry? Is it going to be too bright? All these different questions. And it was funny because it was different from the TV that I had before, but instead of me going, oh, this picture is not what I want or whatever, I'm just like, okay, that's what I got. And it's all stemmed from a review, right? It's from various people that had reviewed it. And that's what we've become at this point. Like literally, if I went to a store and somebody's telling me this is the best TV for the best price, and I look on their website and I see there's 179 reviews and they're all 2-star, I'm going to believe the reviews on the website versus the salesperson. So that's where we are today, is we believe people that we don't even know more than we believe people that we're actually talking to.
So why would we believe a stranger over, well, let's say it's not even a salesman. I mean, what if your buddy has a certain TV and says, this is the one you should get, but you go online and the reviews don't necessarily correlate with that. So in essence, you are believing the stranger over your buddy. Why?
Oh, I don't know. I do it all the time, though, because one of my best friends is a major tech person, and everything in his house is completely connected. I mean, if the power goes out in his place, everything shuts down, right? So much that I think he put up like a 500-pound ceiling fan at one point because it had so much technology in it. I don't know. It was so heavy. But anyway, he'll provide recommendations to me, and I'll go look online. And I can see myself doing this, where I'm literally coming back to him and go, yeah, but it has 2.2 stars on here, right? So, and he'll argue, well, yeah, this and this may be faulty, but you're not going to use that. And I'll go back and I'll say, yeah, but it still has 2.2 stars. And I'm arguing because I just assume, and that's what the internet has done, I assume that power in numbers, I don't know who these people are. And there's a whole other thing that we can look at is, are these reputable? Are they, are the reviews from real people? Are they paid placements? Those types of things. But, we believe strangers more than we believe our best friends, maybe even our wife, husband, whatever it is. Like, we will believe that more than we will people that we know.
So you'll believe that's just reviews. Now you go to an influencer, and they're pushing a certain boot.
Right.
And I'm a boot guy,
Right.
and nobody knows what to get me for Christmas, so I'm like, well, get me another pair of Thursday boots. So I have looked at what color I might want. I think I got a black, a tan, and a brown. I don't need another pair, to be honest with you, but I'll take a gray one and looked around. Everywhere I go on the internet, everywhere is Johnston Murphy and all the other types of boots, and they're offering me great discounts. And then I go to the website on a different computer. That discount is in there. They're just giving it to me because they know that I buy Thursday boots. But there are a couple of influencers who will tell you to buy the other boots.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm seeing their videos and they're basically paid videos in my feed. So they're trying to push the influencers. Does that work?
Oh, of course it does. I mean, we're sitting here on a podcast today, and if we were telling people, go out there and buy this service, it changed my business, it does this, it does that, I mean, people are going to listen, right? So it doesn't mean that you are right or I am right. It's just our own personal opinions. And influencers, again, many of them, if not most of them, get paid to promote products. So you have to look at it from the standpoint of, do I want to believe that? Am I inclined to believe that? Or is it something that I can make that judgment from, right? So if somebody is out there authentically pushing something and there's no paid placement, there's no notification of it in there, then yeah, I mean, they're going to have that influence over individuals. And I see it with my own, especially my own daughter, because she'll say stuff like, oh, this person on Instagram has been promoting this. I want to try this. And I go, what is it? She's like, oh, they say it's the great and this and this and this. And I go, but why do you need it? She's like, I don't know. I see it all the time, and I just want to try it, right? So it's that awareness. It's, they're pushing them over to that consideration side of the funnel.
What are you pushing your daughter like that for? Can't she just get it like every other person?
Well, she does. She actually does. So, but it's funny because I will challenge all of those types of things. Or, again, my wife will say something, and I'll go, well, where did you see this from? And I'll ask, and it's just the marketer in me. Most people wouldn't do that, right? But a lot of people are influenced by their feeds. A lot of people are influenced by those influencers that are on the feed promoting certain things because they see it over and over and over again, and they think, oh, well, everybody's doing it. I need to keep up with the Joneses. So,
I mean, is it because, it's like just like instant society and you don't want to have to do the research and talk to family or friends or cohorts at work? You can just go online and it's just quick. Is that it?
That's totally it, right? So we are so pressed for time because we're moving so fast these days. Like, let's go back to, and I'm showing my age here, let's go back to the 80s and 90s. And I want to go buy a TV. I mentioned the TV part, right? So back in the 80s, you had to go to a store. Maybe you went to a Sears. Maybe you went to, any of those types of big box kind of locations, and you would look at the TVs, and you would try the TVs, and then you'd go to the next place, and you'd go to the next place, and you'd probably go to 4 or 5 different locations looking for the best deal, the best TV, and then you'd make that decision. Now, that was an all-day thing, right? Or you're looking at a car, right? So I'm going to buy a car. I look online. I understand what the car is all about. And now I have to go from dealership to dealership to dealership, right? That's why you see this rise of things like CarMax and Drive Time and all of them where it's no negotiation, like this is the price. Time is extremely valuable. So when we go to buy something, we're looking at things like reviews, what people are saying, because we want to speed up that process. We don't want to spend all day shopping for a TV or an entire weekend shopping for a car. That's just how society is. It's instant gratification with the technology that's in our hands, and that's why things have changed in the last 40, 50 years.
Alexis and I are going to go up to the city. If you're listening somewhere else, we're like 30 minutes outside of downtown Chicago. And we're going to go up, go to dinner, spend the night, and maybe go to lunch the next day and just come home. Maybe a two-nighter, who knows. But I know the restaurants that I like to go to, and they're all rated really well and so forth. But she's always bringing up, well, this is a newer one. There's plenty of buzz about it. Why don't we get off of our track and go somewhere else? And I'm like, okay. And every time I do, I'm so angry that I didn't go to I never go to the city. Maybe 4 times a year now. I used to work there, go every day. And so I know like some standard old restaurants, and I know what I'm going to get, and I know how good the drink's going to be, and I know how good the plate is. And then all of a sudden I'm going somewhere where the buzz is. I don't know what to order. And but we go because she saw it on the internet. That's the new person telling you about a new restaurant. It's just strangers telling you about it instead.
Yeah. There's a couple new restaurants in our area that I've seen a lot of buzz recently. A lot of people talking, have you tried? And that's the first thing, right? When people are asking you, have you been to this place and you haven't heard of it? That's when you know there's something going on. I was laughing because about 2 weeks ago, my wife asked me, we were having coffee in the morning, and she asked me, have you heard of this new restaurant? And I said, I have. And she goes, what's it all about? I go, I don't know, but there's buzz like crazy, and everyone is going. And every time I go to Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or any of them, people are there, right? Like it seems to be recurring over and over and over again. So does that get me inclined to go there? I don't know, right? We don't go out that much, but if I was going to that town, that city, and I heard about it, yeah, I would probably look into it and want to go there. But you're right. You have your old staples that you want to go to, but somebody's pushing you to go somewhere else. You just can't ignore the buzz. It's that whole fear of missing out that we all have, and that's it's just an interesting way that human beings they just don't want to miss out on these things, and we will literally take something that we know is safe, that we know we're going to enjoy. You go to the city 4 times a year, those 4 times I go to this restaurant and it's going to be exactly what I want it to be. But no, I'm going to forego that, and I'm now going to go to this place I have no idea. It could be a horrible experience, but I'm going to roll the dice. And it's all because somebody said something.
So I know the answer to this personally, but sometimes I think it's like, I've been sitting in restaurants going, this is an illusion. Mm-hmm. This was an illusion, and I'm here, and I'm going to spend $150, $200 on dinner and one drink because we're out of here after one drink. But the illusion can get created also on the authenticity of it.
Yeah, what you see online isn't always exactly what you're getting, right? So I had this actually yesterday. I was looking to buy something that was down in Texas, and I reached out to my brother who's in Miami, and I said, your thoughts on this? So he goes and he does some research on it, and he goes, it doesn't seem authentic. And I go, what do you mean? And he starts sending me some things that he had pulled up, and I'm like, oh. And it was a pretty substantial buy of something that I was going to go out there and get. But he goes, something seems off. And I'm like, okay. So I start diving into it a little bit more because you have this whole polished look on their website and their social and all this stuff. But then you went to Google and you start looking at the facility and all this other stuff, and it was completely different than what you're seeing on the website. I'm like, okay, so it's kind of like this whole facade that they're putting out there, but in reality, it doesn't match, right? Or what you see a lot of times on social is people will create this authentic feeling of it's not quite polished. It's shaky cameras. It looks like somebody's done it, in the back office. But then you show up and it's all put together, right? So that you just never know what you're going to get by seeing something online. And you assume what you see is real. But I've seen many times where what you see and you're getting ready to expect, and then you show up and it's maybe 1/6 the size of that it looks online. It's that creative camera
frying pans.
Yeah,
I bought a frying pan for $80, and it looked massive. And then I got it, and it was just just for one grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And I went back to the picture, and I'm like, they must have had the smallest person with the smallest hands ever in that picture. But anyways,
but that's again, the digital age has created an environment where we tend to believe things we see out there. But do your due diligence. But if from a business perspective, realize that we need to create an environment that people have the ability to communicate and share, right? Because people will believe what others say about your business more than what you say in your ads or even on your website.
So what should, by the way, Adriana, I can't remember if it was are we at 15 minutes or 25 right now? There you go.
Yeah,
all right, we'll cut that little part out because I didn't write it down, and I'm dyslexic, so I have two numbers in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's one of those two. Yeah. But all right, so we can keep going. So let's bring this down to the small and medium-sized business, okay? First of all, the main thing that many of us are afraid of is that just rotten review. Mm-hmm. And that can really just turn everything about your business. You may have a great business and one person doesn't like you in some other. I mean, it's impossible for us to get good reviews here on the radio because everybody hates something somebody said. So, but I mean, that's what people are afraid of. The HVAC guy, he kind of downplays the reviews because he's seen other guys get a one or two bad ones, and it just affected their business for years.
Well, I mean, if you respond to those one or two, right, you show that you're interested in fixing it, right? Maybe something happened that was out of your control, but you can jump back in there and you say, please contact us. We'd love to make this right. That shows a lot more than just perfect reviews, right? So me personally, if I'm buying something and it has a 5-star review and it's 200 reviews, no negative, I go, I don't believe it, right? I just don't believe it.
You think they're stacking the deck?
I think they're stacking the deck.
All right, how can you stack the deck?
Well, you can stack the deck all you want.
How?
Well, I mean, a lot of people will have reviews on their website, and unfortunately, there are plugins that you can put into like a WordPress or Shopify where you can scrub out the negative reviews, right? So you got to realize, like, when you're out there buying this stuff, people will actually scrub those out, the ones, the twos, right? I personally believe I love to see a 1 or a 2 or even, just kind of a middle 3 because I want to see how they respond to it. So, if you're on Google Business Profile and you have a 1-star review, my favorite are the ones that you get a 1-star review and it's like, we've never had this customer. Maybe you're thinking about somebody else, but you're not in our system. To me, I look at that and go, okay, well, obviously somebody got mixed up and, that 1-star doesn't resonate with them. Okay. Maybe somebody goes out there and puts that, and maybe it was, somebody that had a negative review for them. But I think how you respond to reviews tells a lot about your character. So your HVAC guy, if something were to happen and he gets a 1-star review, him coming back in there and going, well, you're under warranty for a year. Let us come back and make it right. Give us a call at this number and we'll schedule you in the next week. That to me says, okay, if I buy this furnace and it goes out in a year or it goes out in 90 days or whatever, they're going to come back and help me out. That's worth more to me than just a 5-star review with nothing in it.
So your average business isn't like really got any reviews or anything. So they got a website, and they're like, well, how do I go about getting reviews? How do you start?
Yeah, going back to your HVAC, your buddy, if he's out there and he is putting in entire HVAC systems, I mean, you're talking $10 to $20, $30,000 systems. Put them in, let them run, right? Follow up with them a week later and say, hey, we're collecting reviews. Hopefully you're satisfied. You kind of go above and beyond, but it could be an email. It could even be that day you could have a QR code that literally goes right back to your Google business profile to give them a review. There's plenty of tools out there to do that. But honestly, what I tell everyone is reviews will shoot you to the top, good or bad. They're going to shoot you to the top along with photos and videos of the products and services and things that you do in those profiles. So don't be afraid of reviews. If you get a negative review, go back in and try and make it right. Hopefully they'll change it. If they won't change it, at least you've got a comment on there as to why something happened or how you are trying to fix it. Nobody wants to be ignored when they provide a review, right? So, and I've done that plenty of times where I've given a review that's positive, and I've given maybe like a handful of negative reviews, and nobody ever responds to those, and it drives me insane because I tried to fix it with a phone call. I tried to do this, I tried to do that, and then finally I'm just like, well, I don't want somebody else to get burned by this, so I'm going to put that out there. Here's my experience, and I provide all of the details of it. There are people that will give you a negative review. There are ways to get those off. There's a way to appeal things like that, but you've got to prove that it's not a just somebody out to get you, that it's maybe you've never done business with them or whatever it may be. But reviews are huge. I mean, I cannot say it enough. This is the way we shop. This is the way we look at things, whether it's an influencer or whether it's a rating system. That's how people shop at this point.
So he's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Deedlow. This is the Mastering Local Marketing Podcast, and we're good, right? Yep. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Adobe Creative Cloud is designed to be almost like a playground. It's a collection of applications. If you are more like an illustrator or a graphic designer, you have your own app. If you are more like an editor or you want to animate, you have your certain app to do that. Whichever app you choose, you enter an infinite realm of possibilities. Adobe Creative Cloud has the tools to get you there.
You think you know David's story.
Vomone, eskefipa mapana, alapanaranye, hoopka hoop. Hello, everybody. This is episode 102 of Mastering Local Marketing. He's Matt Hansen. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good.
I'm Jim Deedlow. We're recording this right before Christmas of 2025, and Matt Hansen is the producer. Well, no.
No.
Adriana Alvarez is the producer. Matt Hansen is the content provider. And I'm just like a wind-up toy that you just put a little wind-up in my back and I start talking. And I don't get much leeway here, but it is going into Christmas. So just for a few minutes, I want to take a little bit, and I want to ask
I feel a Jim
you,
tangent coming on.
the digital marketing professor.
Yep.
Everybody around here looks to you as the digital marketing guru. You've been in this perhaps longer than anybody in this whole quadrant of the Chicago area. Tell us something we don't know about you.
Oh, goodness. I have no idea. Something that you don't know about me. What? Give me some context.
All right, better yet, let's tone it down. Tell us something you don't want us to know about you.
Don't want to. Okay. Well, here. Better yet, I was having this conversation yesterday. So, my daughter's going through applying for schools, right? And everyone always says, "Oh, she's such a smart child," and all this other stuff. And now, again, my daughter, huge GPA, has done well on both the SAT and the ACT and all of that. Just got a, accepted. She's been accepted so far to 3 schools. The last one was
She'll choose the most expensive.
Yeah, well,
mine all did.
Notre Dame came in on Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. Way to go, man.
$80,000 a year.
And they don't give.
Yeah,
they don't give
know.
like some of the others do.
I know. So the thing that I was laughing about yesterday is everybody was kind of like coming in because they had seen that my wife had posted this out, that she got accepted and all this. And they're like, "Oh, you must be so proud. She doesn't fall far from the tree." And I'm like, if you're pointing at me, don't point at me, because in high school, I did not get great grades. I was one where it was like BCs. I was focused on production class, which was our marketing. We built like all the marketing stuff for all the schools and everything, and did a lot of design work. And I was a baseball player. Like, I always joke that she takes this calculus and physics and all this other stuff, and I always say, I took advanced classes. I took advanced art and advanced gym, and and so it's funny because
the business classes in high school, you probably took some of those.
We didn't
have.
have.
What is advanced gym?
Advanced gym is like the next level. It was.
Is this like just dodgeball, but with like basketballs instead of the actual like soft dodgeballs?
Well, it was. You had to jump in the pool and fully clothed, and then stay floating for 10 minutes. You had to run like sub 6 miles. I mean, it was just like all of this kind of stuff. So it was next level.
It's usually for that kind of thing is like you play a sport and the teacher and you're kind of there's a little more to it than just going into advanced gym.
So you went to preschool boot camp is what I'm hearing.
It's exactly. So we would play floor hockey. I remember at one time, like everybody in the class broke something because it was so competitive. And I remember watching one guy actually body slam somebody in a floor hockey game. So it was an interesting thing. Where I'm going with this is
no, but that is interesting. Was the guy injured?
No, it was a rubber floor. So
he threw him down on the wrestling mat.
Yeah, essentially. So it was just kind of funny. But I always joke that I didn't take learning serious until about in between my junior and senior year of high school, because I went and I worked in a manufacturing facility and started like literally putting things together and sweating and realizing like I don't want to do this the rest of my life. And that was kind of the direction, the fact that like I didn't think about school and all this other stuff. So the funny part now is that I work at a university and I'm doing all of this training, and I've taken marketing to that next level. So to me, it's funny because everyone always comes, "Oh, they haven't fallen far from the tree." I'm like, you don't want to know who, sophomore Matt Hansen was in school, because he did not think about, getting good grades and all that type of stuff. So I guess that's probably one thing that I kind of hide a little bit, but I'll throw it out there.
Where did you go to college?
I was at P&W.
So when it was Purdue Cal, and then you're teaching there,
right? They didn't let me go. For whatever reason, they said you should teach, and I said they were crazy. So here I am.
I guess this does apply to this podcast, Mastering Local Marketing. You said that you were attracted in high school to production and marketing at that point.
Yeah, we We had this class, and it's funny because the guys that were in the class with me all ended up in marketing positions, various different things. A lot of them are in digital at this point, but we would do a lot of design work on the computers. We were running printing presses, right? So we were running all the stationery and anything for booklets. Like you go to a school, you know, we'll call it a recital or whatever it is, a band concert. We were the ones printing all of that stuff and putting it all together. So we had, you know, the printing press that would print it, and then we'd have to staple it, and we'd create these plates and all that. We had a photography room and all this, but I used to spend like 5-6 hours in there just working on things, and it was just how creative could you get? We were making T-shirts and screen printing and all this other stuff, but that was where I first started realizing that marketing, and I didn't even know it at that point that was technically marketing. That's when I started getting involved in it, right? So I guess long story here is I've been out of school for a very long time. I graduated back in 94. And, you know, from then until now, and what I know and what I've developed in marketing is completely different. I mean, obviously, you don't know whole lot of things in high school, but I guess what I'm saying is experience, taking chances, getting dirty, have all kind of led down a path to where I am today.
So a lot of people listening are probably jealous of that. Many of the entrepreneurs and many of the people that own their own businesses or run a marketing department in maybe a family-owned business, that kind of thing, they maybe didn't grow up with that love of marketing and this. I mean, you could tell everything about you is marketing. We just had a conversation in between here, and you couldn't do it without analyzing it like a marketer. Okay, so the average small and business, you know, the average business person is like, gosh, I'm not that person. I'll never be that person. So they may come to it later. They may have already built a whole business, and now they're looking like, man, it's big enough now. I got to give some money to marketing, and I got to think about it. How does somebody who's been doing this, and maybe they're 42 years old, they built a nice little business, and all of a sudden they got to make that change?
I think if you've built a business already, you're doing marketing. You understand it, right? It's like you can't build a business without understanding marketing. Whether you put the efforts that you're putting out there and put them to equal marketing, that's one thing, right? I mean, if you're out there and you're meeting with customers, you're meeting with potential investors, you're developing your storefront, you're developing a website. I mean, all of that is marketing. Every single contact point that you have with a consumer is marketing. And you're marketing every day, right? So you're constantly selling yourself to others, or they're selling them, you know, their services or things that they do. Like, think about, you know, if you were working in a job and you go into a meeting, and if you're not smart enough here, you're going to end up doing all the work, right? I see this a lot with student projects, and I always joke, students will come to me and they'll say, oh, I've got this team and there's 4 of us and I'm going to do all the work. And I'll look at them and I go, why are you doing all the work? Well, I just don't, I don't trust what they're doing. And I said, so you're taking on the work. They've sold you that they're not going to do the work to your standards, and you're accepting that. So they've sold you. And they're like, well, yeah, but no, and you just kind of get that conversation going. And I say, all right, why don't you go back and have a conversation with them and say, all right, I understand that this is too big for you to fully do yourself, but here's something that I think you can take on. It's very simple. Use these 3 sources to do this, and come back with this, and we'll look at it together, right? Push the work back. Again, that's selling, which is marketing, and we all know that that's what we do every day. If you own a business and you're trying to get product, well, somebody's going to sell you product at a certain price, and somebody's going to sell you much cheaper and more expensive and all this other stuff. So you've got to negotiate, right? Negotiations are part of marketing. So there's all these different things that you're doing on a daily basis, whether it's just having a conversation with your spouse, your friends, your coworkers, or if you're actually out there shopping, you're having marketing conversations. You understand what marketing is. I'm sitting here today and I'm wearing a shirt or a coat that's got College of Business on it. Am I marketing? Of course. That's why they buy them for us. So we're out there.
Can I get one, by the way?
I can put you in touch with Sam. Sure.
All right.
Yep. But that's what I mean. Like, we wear things we're marketing, right? You're talking about your boots all the time. You've probably talked about your boots
I'm going to have to contact
episodes.
Thursday Boots.
Right?
I believe in them.
Make it 9 now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
there it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I wear them. You guys can see them, and they're beat up a little bit, but I'll just go down the street here, and Javier will resole them.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of Thursday boots that I left in a hotel room that had been resold 7 times.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
But that's what I mean. Like, we're all marketers.
No,
we all
I don't buy
are.
that. I don't
Okay,
buy it
all right, hold on.
because I
So,
know.
Are you saying that you're not a marketer?
I'm saying that right now, and Matt and I are working together on our marketing. I said to people, I go, for 5 years, we're going to build this company, and we're not going to worry about it. I'll find the investors, and I'll fund it, and we'll go through it. But at the end of this 5 years, we're going to turn to marketing, which is the worst strategy possible, just so you know. But now I feel like I'm so excited. I wake up in the morning, and I want to be in marketing. It's like I got to this long in the tooth, and I'm like into it where you got it when you were a teenager. I never once thought about marketing. Now I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm thinking about what are these guys doing? Why are they doing that? I'm seeing some of the big companies around here buying a bunch of ads on social that they should be doing some of that with us. I would have never thought in that terms before. So the reason I'm bringing that out is that people are listening to this podcast and they're like, God, I'm kind of getting into it a little. I kind of get what they're talking about. It's okay to admit you didn't ever really care about it, and now you do.
Well, caring and knowing about it are two different things, right? So what you're saying is you've put a spotlight on your marketing at this point. But you said just a minute ago that you launched a company, right? So the Sports Network, Heartland Sports Network. You launched it, and it was named something else, right? You've done the rebrand, but you
did the
it,
rebrand.
But you launched it, and you said you had to get investors. You had to have your team buy-in. You had to have a bunch of different people all part of it, right? Did you do it by yourself?
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So you sold the idea to others to help you build it.
There's probably 12 major stakeholders.
Okay. So those 12 people have bought into you to build this. That's not sales?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Right?
I guess it is sales.
Like if you came to me today and said, I've got this idea and I'm going to launch it in 5 years. Okay.
I just did in the break.
I know, but what I'm saying is you're telling me about it in the hopes that I can validate what. No, you're not going to explain it to me without the validation side of it, right?
Okay. Yeah,
right?
You're right.
Right. So you built Heartland Sports Network. The validation is coming now because you're out there talking to people. But for 5 years, you've been selling it without you even knowing it. You said you have investors. You've got additional investors that are looking to get into it as well. You talk to people around you on a constant basis, right? Like you go talk to the schools. You weren't anything without the schools, so you sold the schools on it, right? Because you got 25 schools now part of it.
We had to sell 25 different superintendent athletic directors, yes.
So you walk into the ADs. You didn't just go, hey, we're building this thing. And then
we
stop
had to
with
show
that.
them. Yeah. You're right.
So
Okay.
you're marketing.
You're right. I specifically, and I imagine that others that are not born marketers like you that are 14 years old and sophomore in high school and just like, into marketing, we don't think of it in those terms. I think of marketing as putting out the message, maybe paid ads of some sort, so that I can sell advertising. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I think of marketing. All these other things you're bringing in are not what I would consider marketing.
So what you're saying is I look at things differently, right?
You do.
I do. So when you say running ads, doing stuff like that, that's 5% of marketing.
Are you listening to this or are you doing your homework?
She's doing her homework. No, just kidding. She doesn't have any homework. She doesn't have my
Oh,
class
yeah.
until next semester.
Yeah.
That's 5% of marketing. All right, I'm going to bring this one out, and typically Adriana just is like pay no attention to the person behind the curtain. But I'm going to tell you what he told me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know that podcast network you're doing? Adriana's taking my class this semester. It'll be entirely different by the end of the semester.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I need to know why you
Because-
said that.
Because right now what you're focused on is the production and getting the people in.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to end up doing next semester is you're going to start looking and analyzing what's happening and then testing things, right? So you're not testing anything right now necessarily. There's a couple different podcasts that you are, but overall the conversation that you're going to have to new people that are coming into the network is going to be different than what it is today. Today it's about awareness, build your own thing, right? Tell your own content, those types of things. It'll be the planning stage in the future. You'll be going, okay, what's the niche? Who's the customer? What is the message that you're trying to get out, right? So again, our focus is local small business, doing marketing, trying to get them out there, giving them 1, 2, 3 things to kind of bite on and run and go do. We have a very specific mission as to what we're trying to do. Others, you have to go, all right, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this? Who's your audience? Is it big? Is it small? Right? Like we just got the Spotify results, and we look at it, and it's the top 5 countries. Okay, number 1 was the U.S., of course. Mm-hmm. Number 2 was Ireland.
Oh, it wasn't.
Would you have seen that coming?
I thought it was Australia.
No, they were 5.
Yeah, I thought we were very popular.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like this is where you start to look into it. So again, what I'm saying
Shout out to Ireland. Thank you, guys.
what I'm saying is the fact that you start to learn more and more things, but your idea of marketing is literally ads and
Limited.
It's so much more than that. It's literally every single thing you do. It's every touch point. And the dead air is Jim thinking, just letting you know.
I am thinking because, I forgot what I was going to say, but, I don't. I think of doing this podcast, I took your class, I've had a business for all these years, and you are making me realize new avenues to think. And I don't know what happened, but at one point I really was against selling and against marketing and doing all of that. And at some point, maybe it's out of necessity, but I don't think so. I'm pretty much do what I want. I can't tell you how much I want to get up and go do the numbers that this guy has. All right, let me give you a real world example. Yesterday, my buddy is kind of a big executive at a place, and he calls and he says, "Hey, I'll buy this stuff here. It's end of year money." And I go, "Okay, thank you." I go, "Well, what happened with this major proposal with your company?" And finally, he goes, "All right, I'm just going to tell you. You don't present your numbers well, right, and you don't tell your story. I get a feeling that it's a really good story, and we would, and our people are just like, we can't take that kind of convoluted, presentation of your numbers to others. We get all of these proposals in, and they're all spot on, and they're very, succinct on what they're going to do. But it may be that you have a better product. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's the local product. These are all non-locals."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You need to go back and you need to do your numbers." And I'm arguing with my buddy. I'm like, "What are you talking about? We do this, this, and this." And then I realize he's telling me something. So I bring it into my guys, and then they're arguing with me, right? And then what I realized, without thinking about it at first, I didn't get it until you said this. You said, "Well, it sounds like they're changing positions on the funnel." And if you remember the funnel, it's awareness. Middle of the funnel is what? Consideration. And then the bottom of the funnel is close. Yep. If you remember anything else out of this podcast, you go to me, you go, Well, it sounds like they're going from awareness to consideration. And I'm like, God, here I am arguing with my buddy and telling him he's full of shiitake mushrooms. And he was giving me invaluable input. And I won't apologize to him because he's him. But
He was trying to close the sale, and you weren't listening.
yes,
That's exactly what he was doing. He told you exactly.
You would have if you would have came out of that
I would have said
discussion with a bunch of money, and instead I closed it down, and I'm not gonna heal it until we go golfing, okay? But he was right. He gave us, and then you and I talked about it for an hour, and you basically came around. Well, this is what we need to do. He has given me homework, Adriana, about how to aggregate our numbers and present them.
So,
where do you get out of that?
Well, that conversation is interesting. It was interesting to me because you are used to a certain customer, and I am used to two different types of customers. And what you're doing is the sports network is now elevating into that second tier of customers. And I'm not saying tiers as in, good, bad. I'm saying in terms of the size of the buy. And when you get to a next level customer, they have different demands. And the demands that they have is it's not just, I know who you're talking about. It's not a single entrepreneur that owns a single location. It is somebody that has a team of marketers. It is somebody that has bosses above them. And somewhere along the line, somebody's going to be asking for this. And they can't make that buy until you can provide XYZ. And I told you about some people that I've dealt with in the last 2 years that they wanted certain numbers, they had to see certain things, and I spent like crazy because they had to do this and do that, but I had to justify everything by bringing those numbers back every single month, putting them into a nice little report so they could see them, and as soon as I handed it to them, they would look at it, and 2 minutes later, they're like, okay, great. And that was the end of it, right? So what you're saying here, based on your conversation, is you've reached that next tier of buy, larger money, a little bit more demanding, wants to see what's going on. But if you can just provide that one simple thing, it's sold. And that's really what it was all about.
Did you get that? Mm-hmm. By the way, Joe Cimino's calling me.
I'll let him know you're on the air right now.
So we veered off. Episode 102 is going to be Slapstick Jed. But I want you guys to understand one thing, that if you listen to what Hanson's saying, here's another example. I hate to do this now to my wife, but we go to Showplace and we go to see movies once a month, right? And now we go and I'm predicting what the script is going to do and where they're going to take the movie. I go, yeah, we got to come back to that other character that we had, and then that person's probably the killer or something like that. She's like, why are you doing this? But what I realize is that you're basically working in predicting behavior. Mm-hmm. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And now, once you start thinking like that, and I hope it doesn't happen to you, Adriana, because all of a sudden you're going to be like with your friends and like, oh, I know what she's going to say and that kind of thing. But I'm starting to think in terms of predictive elements.
Well, you're a former trader, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you look at predictability and what's going to happen.
Risk,
right? So you think you know what's going to happen, and you look at trends, right? We know that typically in this time frame leading up to Christmas that the markets are going to do well, right? We know that every single year that I forget the term they call it, but it's basically you're going to see some increase, and then when it gets over the hump, then we go back down, right? I think I looked at the markets today and they were down a little bit, right? We know that, but there's so many things that when you become good at marketing, you can predict things that are going to happen. Like you will be able to do X and Y will happen, and when my kids were little, I used to do this. I'm like, watch this. And I would say something And I go, this is what's going to happen. And they just start laughing at me. They're like, how do you know that's going to happen? And I said, it's just, if you understand people really well, you know that we're kind of all the same and that we're going to react in similar fashions, right? So again, going back to your trading, if you're reading about a company that's booming on some news service, let's say you go over to like Yahoo News or something like that, and you're reading about it, like, oh, you've got to get into this company, it's too late, right? If it's in the news, it's too late. So what people will come to me with trading advice and like, I read about this article. I see there's like 3 or 4 articles recently that were published on. I go, you're too late. Don't even bother. And you know I'm right on that.
Oh, actually, you want those people to come into the market.
Yeah, because they're going to boost it and then
they're
you're going to sell it
give
off.
up the edge
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah, don't be doing that. Every time your dentist is working on your teeth and he's like, man, I think I should buy this stock. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. It's going to make me more money as I sell it off and you're buying. Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Like, there's so many different ways that you can look at this, and there's predictability. So when you get into marketing, you start to understand these types of things, you will actually start to be able to predict things. And the story that we talk about in marketing, you're telling a story, you're going to a movie, you're looking for, they introduced this character and they disappeared. Okay, they're coming back. They're part of the final part of this. I call that the dropping the keys, right? Like somebody's walking down the street, they drop their wallet, they drop their keys, and then you don't hear anything about it. And you're like, why did they do that? Well, somebody took the keys later, opened up the door, found the, whatever, and that's what's helped solve it, right? So we're telling stories, and if you understand how to tell those stories, you can start to tell the stories and push people in directions. And I love giving presentations because I won't show you other characters in that story on purpose. It's like my students were giving a presentation to me last week or 2 weeks ago, and they're like, oh, well, this target audience is really really active on TikTok and Snapchat. And you listen to those presentations. TikTok and Snapchat weren't even in their case study that they could use, and I'm going, well, why did you mention those? It's like introducing a character that you're never going to, there's no closure here. Why are you introducing that? And they don't get that yet because they're still students, right? But don't introduce things that aren't driving people towards where you want them to go. So what you're trying to do is lay 1, 2, 3, 4 things in a row that are driving them towards that. So your buddy is asking you for those reports. And all he had to say was, I will cut you a check tomorrow if you had these reports, is what he was telling you, right? So when you sat down yesterday and you're talking to your team and you're talking to me, literally I'm telling you, those reports have to get done now. And you have to send those back over and go, all right, we took your advice. This is what we've got. We wanted to make sure that you're getting what you needed. That's you listening to your customers, and your customers are going to appreciate that.
Unscripted, Matt Hansen. Unscripted, Adriana Alvarez, who is evidently going to be a master marketing person of a podcast network by the end of next semester.
That's a big ask right there. I'm not promising that.
Yeah,
but.
I was about to say, we might just get a few more downloads.
Yeah.
We'll start from there. I was actually recruiting people for your class.
There you go.
Because they were just like, oh, yeah, I had this person, this professor. I was just like, take Hanson's classes. He's cool. Do that one. Yeah.
Are you kidding? Do you know how he grades? Literally.
They're going to learn so much from him, though.
Obviously know all about grade inflation. He doesn't.
No. You earn an A in my class.
There you go.
I'm serious. And I've done his classes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm me, and I got a B+ on one of them.
Yeah.
And I did everything. I thought I had it all right. And then he showed me, this little bit here and this little bit there. So when you're producing our show and you're doing your homework, I'll know why.
Hey, it's the last semester of my undergrad college career. I say that because I don't know if I'll do grad school or not later on. But at that point, as senioritis was kicking so much, I'm like, C's get degrees at this point.
Ooh. Don't ever. That's like throwing water on a wicked witch over here. Hey, this has been episode 102. She's Adriana Alvarez. Please go check her podcast network out. It's just write in WJOB Podcast Network, and she's got like 20 podcasts now. And that if you want to tell us what you want us to talk about, you can get a hold of Matt by
Just email me at matt@masteringlocalmarketing.com.
Until next time, see you later.
This holiday season, turn your what ifs into why nots. Tagging that next summit. Scoring the perfect POW day. Venturing into the unknown. At Backcountry, we know that dreaming is where adventure begins. If you can dream it up, we can gear you up. Shop the holiday gift guide now and embark on your next dream adventure. All at backcountry.com.
ClickUp is the AI-powered work platform that unifies your entire team and all your tools together in one place. So your work goes from scattered to seamless. ClickUp turns your projects on autopilot with AI agents that assign and prioritize your team's tasks, so the work is visible and everyone knows what to do. ClickUp streamlines work. From fast-moving teams to multi-billion-dollar companies, see how the future works. Get ClickUp for free today.
When you're always on the move, Streck and Ventil makes grocery shopping simple. It's as easy as 1. Order fresh groceries online from any device. 2. Schedule your delivery time. 3. Get fresh, hand-picked groceries delivered to your front door. Store to door in as little as 2 hours. Or you can order online and pick up at store. Pull up and we'll bring it out to you. Life made simple. Shopping made easy. It's a Streck and Ventil thing.
Welcome to the Limb Walkers podcast. Go to the WJOB Podcast Network on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, I saw, was getting a lot more than I would have thought. And wherever you get your podcasts, I think Adriana sends it to 9 different locations. If you want to watch it, 21?
21.
12.
Whoa.
Okay.
I can't read that sign
I'm like,
language.
20, she's 12 different locations. But if you want to watch it in video, go to WJOB 1230 on YouTube, and you can see all of the episodes of the Limb Walkers podcast. It's basically to showcase the life and experience of one Will Glaros. And he has been doing a radio show and been in insurance and motivational speaking for many decades. And
Decades?
Now, many decades,
I
really.
guess that's true.
Can you pull your mic up a little bit? Evidently, it didn't
There
rub
we
off
go.
on you that you need to put your mic in the right spot. But
I haven't done this long enough to understand that yet.
Will, let's go right into this because it might take a little while. We are at a turning point in America and in the world right now. And quite frankly, in this business that you have a pretty, hefty little involvement here in that you're doing their podcast and, you've given us a nice big check before and that kind of thing. So evidently you believe in it, and I appreciate that, but other people have too. And one of the, I guess, the pledges that we make, and we're like, hey, this is what we're going to do, is that we are going to take the highest level of technology that's available, and we're going to apply it to the local level. Now, we have a great advantage. Adriana, who's producing this and runs the WJOB network, podcast network, she's just one of the many that we're able to take off of the university and bring over here and say, listen, we need the highest level of technology. We did it with our sports network, and now we're doing it with her podcast network. But at every turn, we are using AI, and we're not afraid of it, and it's becoming easier and easier to use. And as a matter of fact, we built our own AI app that we use internally here, and it has changed the nature of what we're doing, and it has allowed us to do way more than we would have in the past. That's our story. What is your initial reflection on AI?
I mean, I think we're silly to think that change is not coming and will continue to come. I mean, AI is the most current vehicle to come into play in the marketplace in everything. And I don't think you can ignore it. I think what you have to do is adapt to it. But I think you still have to believe in the human spirit and production capability in order for it to survive long term. And I say that for a reason. If you think about it, AI is dynamite. It can cut a lot of expenses. I heard something earlier today on the radio that was talking about the number of people that they put plumbing, an AI plumbing robot that does plumbing work, or any robot or any AI device that does work that man does, potentially means man is not going to have a place in the equation, or not as large of a case. And I guess my only concern with it, and in my field, what I'm interested in, motivation and encouraging people, is to understand that even with AI, man is still a very unique cog in the wheel. And it's that, and I hear the stories about AI doing creative thinking and everything, and I don't deny that, but I just guess I have a lot more faith that man will always have a part no matter where AI comes into it.
So we're on the university here. If you are out of the area, and many of you are, we are on the campus of Purdue Northwest, which is essentially an engineering and technology-based university. Our producer here is not in that necessarily. Well, actually, she is, in a weird way, heavily into technology, working here and in a lot of her classes. But I'm going to tell a story of another woman who works with us that also actually just came out of college. And I sat down and I said, listen, we're building this AI app, and we can do so much. We can basically automate the entire radio station, an AM1 and FM1. We can automate our podcast network. And we are, we can use softwares that are already built on AI. And she was honest with me. I go, well, what do you think? She goes, well, I think it's going to cost all of us our jobs. And I go, it is. It is going to cost. It's going to be very hard to come out with a communications degree or a history degree or an accounting degree even and find a job, because AI can do a lot of those tasks that you were taught. But there is a good news in that, is that the people that know how to operate the systems in which AI is used,
Right.
those are the people that are going to be not just employable, but very highly sought after. And I think she kind of came around to it. I go, here's what I'm going to do. I don't know an AI system yet, but we're going to build it. And we're not going to hire any more people. I typically hire, and because we can just do more work with the same people that are here, and we can create more value and sell more ads. But yes, you are so right in one regard, that the single task person is going to be, you and I have seen this.
Oh.
Remember the steel mills?
Oh, yes.
Tell that story. I mean, what happened when they brought in automated conveyor belts and they brought in
Population of employees
was 27,000 at Inland Steel, 30 they said at one point, and then they got it down to like 2,700. So they lost more than 90% of that, and people were phased out by technology. Did you know anybody?
Not specifically, no. I mean, I forget the year that was going into play, but I had been out there for a number of years working as a painter for a painting contractor, doing the work basically at Inland. And all you saw was a lot of people. Many of them, you began to wonder how many of them were really, I mean, there were a lot of stand-arounds. But if they were able to reduce it that much, I mean, that's great for the company, no question about that. I guess my only question, and I think we're more on the route of motivation and proving your value, but my only concern would be if you have, especially at the beginning, and you have a large population drop in employment, where does the revenue come from that those people generate by purchasing things? As an example, cars. The Inland's producing a ton of cars. They're producing them for a lot less. But the people buying those cars, half of them aren't working anymore because of AI. Now, that's a very single, stilted view. It's a selfish view for the people I know out there that are working and employed. But I think there's two sides to it, and I think they need to find a way to mitigate the loss of revenue to the individuals that are no longer going to be employed because AI, as you said, you're going to have fewer people that you need in the future, or you won't be hiring.
Even as we grow, I'll be honest with you, we just added a whole conference. How many schools now? 25 or so, something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, we just added 30% more schools as affiliates.
No question.
And we're not adding. They figured out a way to do games using robotic cameras and some AI editing where they do it with two people when we used to have 5. And so we could go into the efficiencies created in almost every industry. Right. We could talk about all of the jobs that are not going to really be there. And we could talk about the people the young people need to learn systems. I get that. Maybe we'll come back to it. But I'm kind of curious. This is this podcast is about motivating people and taking risks. I'm very surprised you want to come in and talk about AI. Why?
I just think AI is one of the big challenges that business is facing, whether or not people should get into it, invest in it like you're doing here. I think how they're going to deal with their employees, how people who are being maybe not added anymore, like you said, the young lady you were talking about, her job opportunities maybe are going to be dramatically altered. What does she do? And I think the reason I wanted to talk about AI is to say, hey, you don't give up hope or prospects of your future because of changes that are going on like AI. You get creative and you find new ways to attack the marketplace. Let me give you an example. And I'm not sure it's an exact comparison, but the Rockefeller family years ago were very involved in starting our public school system. And their purpose behind it was they wanted to develop people who would follow a certain way of working and completing things and going to lunch and getting off work and everything they did. They wanted this protocol followed, which schools did, because they wanted people that would leave schools and then go to work in the factories, and they would be part of an efficiency line that existed. And I think people thought at that time, because of that people weren't going to be able to basically think for themselves and do extracurricular things and create new ideas and create new systems. But they still did, because people are individuals. And they're capable of being able to grow and adapt and take the next step that they need to be successful. They're not just, certainly you have people that just follow the mod, but it's the people who are creative and who are independent thinkers that no matter what, they're going to find another way to get the job done or to accomplish what their ends are, that their goal is.
So you're basically saying that man can merge with AI and maintain what?
Maintain a position of meaning in the system. I think people are going to have to get creative to find out how to do that. They're not going to just be able to sit back and say, well, here I am, I'm working here, and all of a sudden AI comes in and I'm not quite needed. You're going to have to get creative to show your value to that company, so you wouldn't say, you know what, I wasn't going to add any more people, but this person is creative, they're hardworking. There are other things that are important in addition to the AI. AI is going to simplify things, but you still need those special people who are willing to take the risk to learn new things, not necessarily AI, but to take your company forward, that aren't capable in that field alone, the AI field.
So as we go forward, I mean, if AI just continues to improve, how are we going to, what's going to happen? I mean, in your mind, you're looking at AI just making better AIs by just, not because we're programming it. Now it's just saying, all right, I'm just going to work on myself and make myself bigger and more powerful. And every few weeks, they come out with major updates and major possibilities from AI. Now, I'll just ask you, what can man do to stay pertinent?
I think you just have to develop a new pathway to excellence, to give value to who you are and what you do. I still think creative thinking, even though AI is the planned position of AI is for it to just adapt with everything and think ahead and doing it. I guess I just have that. I have too much faith in man, that man isn't going to have an adaptation to that and overcome it. Not the fact that it will beat it or try to get rid of it, but adapt to it and find other ways to use it that they can still create value in themselves, because it's really the value that a person has in their own skills and ability, which is what gives them opportunity out there. I mean, I talked to somebody no, it wasn't a talk. It was my wife was reading a sheet from a friend of hers talking about when I left Prudential in 1974 and opened my own agency. And she said, if anybody can do it, Will can do it. He's creative, he's ingenious, he's hardworking, he doesn't know the word quit. And I think those skills are still going to be important, but I think people are going to have to find new ways to prove those skills to the people who are hiring people. Or if you want to go out on your own, to create a new thought process or a new entity that you can sell to people that kind of supplements AI or whatever new science is going to come in, because AI isn't the end of it.
Do you mind if we bring the 21-year-old and ask her?
No, absolutely.
Adriana?
Yes.
I don't think we've ever had this conversation directly. How do you feel about AI?
When it comes to AI, I feel that it is a tool that is going to be around for a while, and that the more that it grows, the more people are either going to work with it or want to be against it. For those that want to work with it are the ones that are going to learn how it operates, learn how to, I don't know what a nicer word for it is, but like manipulate the AI to be able to do what you want it to do. So that way, when it comes time to be employed and or to use the system, whether you are in school and or doing it in your career, it will make you become more of a desire higher than the other individual who will just use AI, put in a prompt, and that's all that they do, instead of saying, okay, well, here's 50 prompts that we use with our AI to make sure that it runs catered specifically towards your needs. So I just think AI is not going to go away. The only issue that I may have with it is that in schools, it is a issue because students are leaning on it a lot more than if it was just Grammarly fixing up your essays a little bit. Now they're writing whole entire essays, and there's AIs to combat the AI detecting bots that professors are using. So it is a very powerful tool, but I think if it's used properly, then it becomes more valuable.
And I think to keep it in relative thought process too, AI is no different than when Henry Ford came out with the first automobile. And all of a sudden, everybody imagined their business with horse-drawn wagons and the things they were doing with manual labor were going to disappear, and everybody was going to be unimportant anymore. And that didn't happen. Man has a way of adapting. This is such a fast-moving thing and so all-encompassing, AI, and the potential good that it can do is so vast that people are not going to drop it. So people have to be prepared, and I think that's part of the lesson here. Either you learn to deal with it and adapt to it and use it, or you could potentially be a victim of it if you're not adaptable.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like...
I agree.
I mean, you have people on the end of their work world and someone on the beginning of your work world. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of almost both saying the same thing almost. One of the things that gets talked about a lot is the dangers of it basically taking over. Do you consider that?
It is a dangerous tool the more that it becomes accurate when it creates a picture and or a voiceover. Hence why there are laws regarding that, and especially in a court of law, because some things can be fabricated through AI. When pictures come out for different celebrities, political figures, anything like that, it has to go through an AI detector to make sure that it is real and not fake. And that is where I think it can cause the most danger, is if somebody breaks the law and evidence is brought up and it could potentially be tampered with AI.
Are you afraid of it?
It's change. It's coming. We're not going to change it. If I have a fear of it, it's the potential impact on working men and women who may not have a future any longer in fields they've been involved in for a long period of time. I mean, I think of it, it's great for the person employing the AI because they can cut, like you mentioned, the expenses and everything.
You have to remain competitive.
Yeah, but the other side of it is, how do the people that are currently buying those products that we're all selling out there, how are they able to continue to make the money they were making while you have a whole vast group of people from the initial onslaught of it who aren't able to cope with it? And all of a sudden incomes drop to the floor. Who's buying those products then? So I think there needs to be some thought in how those income sources are going to be recovered by the people that are losing jobs in order to be able to buy the products that are being produced at a lesser cost.
That is so Henry Ford and what was who was the guy that was that Henry Ford that said the people that work in my factory have to make enough to buy one of my cars, right? That was
Yep,
him, right?
it was Henry Ford, exactly.
So the people that work in AI have to make enough to do what?
Well, in this case, it's more the people who will not be working because of AI. The ones who are working in AI, they're going to be, and they're capable, and they've been trained, or they're ready to do it, and they're doing it. But the people who were in those jobs before that are now being replaced by AI, and I'm sure there's an answer to this. I'm here talking about people need to be ready. They need to be prepared. They need to be looking for alternatives now before all this stuff begins to really, come to pass. And it's going to begin to impact people.
So what attitude do you think? I mean, ultimately, this is a podcast based on if you're watching it on, my daughter's calling me to go pick up the granddaughter at nursery school, which I love. There's a picture of Will out on a limb on a tree. This is called limb walkers. If one never ventures out on the limb, one will never taste the fruit. And it's about taking calculated risks. It's about being able to handle failure. It's about dreaming, having visions. I mean, how does all of what we've been talking about for a whole year fit into a landscape of technology that is just changing so fast you can barely comprehend it?
I think the first thing that people will need to do is find those areas of opportunity that exist out there. And then if they find an area that they think can wrap around AI, or even in a completely different area that has nothing to do with AI directly. I mean, everybody, I think, is going to be impacted to some degree by it. But I think it's maintaining a positive attitude. It's creating a plan for survival. If, in fact, AI is going to have a major impact on employment and what people are going to have to do to get reemployed, you need to have a plan. And that's what most people have a difficult concept in doing, is having a plan.
Really, the world that you're painting is true. It's changing that quickly.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is that how do you have a plan?
You have to look for opportunities that you see in you have to be open-minded. Some people are just, they've been doing something for so long, it's difficult to separate and say, okay, I'm looking at this world now, but you know what? There are times that you just have to do that. You have to have a different viewpoint of something and develop some sort of a response to it. The problem is many people will just go into the woe is me mode, and they shut down everything rather than saying, you know what? I just thought of an idea I think I can use with AI that could make me the next Jim Dietelo.
He's Will Glaros. This is the Limb Walkers podcast. As soon as he starts veering off into that, are we at the right? Yeah, that causes it about the end of the.
He's getting shy now. His face is all red.
Well, I guess I mean, I'm having trouble figuring out exactly where it's supposed to fit in the business.
Sure.
I mean, if you really look at it, we're sitting here on the campus. We're moving back to our old studios. But it's just the same distance. It's basically very close to the university, and now there's other universities that have comm departments and broadcasting and tech, and so there's a ready supply of people wanting to get resume builds, and they come here, and I work them for pretty low amounts, and they work hard, and they bring their tech here, and then we have a nice trade. Honestly, I don't see that in the future. I see that we can there's just not a lot of, that's not an opening as much.
Well, here, let's take you specifically as an example. Let's assume that Adriana wasn't sitting back there behind that screen, and you're not hiring anymore, but she walks through that door and exhibits to you talents that you know. I mean, you've given her a shot at this podcast build. What's happened? Boom, it's taken off. It's still the individual that is going to have that value that people are they're going to say, I want to work with her. I'm going to join your network of podcasts because she knows what she's doing. You know what you're doing. So are you going to hire her? I think if she's good, if she didn't sit back there right now, you'd hire her in a flash.
Okay, I'm not talking about that. I mean, I already know that she's has built a podcast network that I kind of really didn't want. She built a She built
reluctant to the ideas.
Yeah, YouTube channel. I wanted to come back to radio and just do radio. Okay, but now it's growing, and she's using the latest technology, some of the AI tools to get it done. Mostly her, maybe one or two others helping her. But what I'm saying is that there's 10 other Adrianas over there that are not as talented, but they want to
CYA that was.
Yeah, they want to get into the industry, and we've been an entry. And I mean, there's people at Big Ten Network, there's people at Barstool, there's people at CB. I mean, they're everywhere. Okay, but they got something here, and she's interviewing people right now for an internship, but somebody else is paying for it. Otherwise, we would never do this. We would never get we would never do it because we can't take the time to teach somebody, and they're not really going to bring us value, and we can do a lot more work than we used to do with way less people.
Yeah.
So to me, I agree with you. That's a danger. There's just not. The entire internship world is turned upside down, in that colleges actually have to pay you to take the intern because you're basically teaching them, where it used to be the other way around. And I don't know what's going to happen in that world.
Well, the problem is it's happening so quickly.
Yes.
It isn't like the development of the automobile where you had Ford do it and then you had Chrysler and the other ones building out and learning and understanding something that they had never really, they may have thought of dreaming of it, but they hadn't implemented it. So everybody went through growth patterns on hiring employees, finding what they needed to do to make an automobile, what would people buy, what are these little strange little thin tires that they use at the beginning versus the wide radials. Transition is always happening. But I really do still think that people maybe what they need to do in the schools is put programs in place that teach people how to think success. We've talked about this before, that it's one of the things I think schools are missing. They need to teach people about facing these types of issues with a positive attitude, being able to visualize success and knowing what it takes to get there.
Adriana, thanks a lot for your input and for producing. It's been thanks a lot to you, Will, for bringing up a topic that I just can't believe. I mean, it's something we talk about a lot. I can't believe you brought it up on your podcast, so I appreciate that.
You bet.
And mostly I appreciate you for listening and watching. Don't forget to go to Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about it. And until next time, we will see you later.
Make this holiday unforgettable with Kansas City Steak Company. Give the gift of steakhouse flavor with free shipping, free burgers, and free roasted garlic finishing butter on orders of $149 or more. Our steaks are the perfect way to bring joy to every table. Visit kansascitysteaks.com/3x free ECF. Kansas City Steak Company. Give the gift that sizzles.
Giving can be just as good as getting. Check out these must-have gifts for everyone on your list. The Therabody Theragun Relief Massage Gun is perfect for those active people in your life. The scientifically proven percussive therapy offers fast and effective relief from all those aches and pains, and the triangle design reaches those tricky spots. The Therabody